Hey, fifth grade. Back again. So exciting. So, today we're on lesson 4, which is animal life cycles. And this is Mia, and she's a mammal. And if she were not fixed, she would have puppies. And then they would grow up to look like dogs. And then they would get old and look like her with gray hair. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I wrote down the page that your flip grid question is on, which is on page 131, number 8, and there we go. We're on 127. And fun, exciting fact, I have toys to share with you, I guess. We'll get into it. All right, so animal life cycles. Up here, you see a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. Hopefully it's a butterfly and not a moth. Yes, it is. Butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. Actually, so if you guys ever get the chance to, I wish we could do this, right? Because we actually would have done it had we been in school, which is kind of a bummer. But if you get the chance to ever, grow a butterfly, I don't know, raise a butterfly from a caterpillar, it's actually really cool to watch, how it happens, and especially when they first come out of the chrysalis. It's really cool because their wings are, super wet and, kind of, all folded up. And if you talk to them all the time, like I did when I raised my butterfly in college, they'll be nice to you when they turn into butterflies, and mine actually, landed on me and hung out with me for a little while before they flew away. So that was pretty cool. I can hear one of my dogs tapping around. All right, so metamorphosis. Does anybody remember that from, what was it, Bug's Life? Okay, just me? All right. All animals have a life cycle that is a pattern of birth, growth, and death. When many animals are born, they look similar to their parents. Kittens look like small cats. Turtle hatchlings look like tiny turtles. As they grow, they get bigger. But some animals are born looking different from their parents. Hence, butterfly, caterpillar, right? They develop in a series of stages. They have different forms in each stage, and the process of an animal changing from form during its life cycle is called metamorphosis. Sorry, I'm going to keep saying it like that. Amphibians and insects grow and develop through metamorphosis. All right, number 2 is one of your questions. Do the young bees go through metamorphosis? Explain. This is what a baby bee looks like. This is what a grown-up bee looks like. Does this look like a tiny version of a bee? No. Does it go through metamorphosis? You'll have to decide. And write the answer down so that I can read it after school's out. Yay! Okay. I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun today. Okay, this is where I get to bring out my toys. Amphibian metamorphosis. Frogs, toads, and salamanders develop through metamorphosis. I gotta stop. You might be familiar with the stages of the life cycle of a frog. Frogs hatch as tadpoles from eggs laid in water. Tadpoles have gills and a tail. Slowly, tadpoles grow legs and their tail shortens. Soon they develop lungs and stop getting oxygen through gills. They begin to live on land. As adults, frogs look nothing like they did when they were young. So, here's where I bust out my toys. You can read all of these to yourselves because I know you're big children, and I'm going to show you my toys instead. And you do have to do number 4. Yes, number 4, which is filling in the blanks. Okay. So, I actually have a little set. It's from my mom, Mrs. McGuire, as you probably know, which is a lot of preschool toys that she gives to Leo. So we've got Frog Life Cycle. What? So here's our first stage, and I even have the card that tells me all the important things I need to know. So these are the eggs. Ooh, right? And so it says, depending on the species, female frogs can lay hundreds or even thousands of eggs in ponds or lakes. And eggs are covered by a jelly-like substance, right? So that's the clear part, and the black part is the actual baby that protects them from fish. Because this looks like a tasty snack. I don't know if any of you are fishermen, fisher women. Never heard of that. Fisher people, a lot of times you'll use eggs or like fake eggs as bait. So, fish-like eggs. And then we move into a tadpole. There we go. Little guy, right? He doesn't have any legs or anything. He's just got a tail and a head. And he's a bit creepy. All right? And so it says tadpoles hatch from eggs about 21 days, 3 weeks after they're laid. As the tadpoles develops, it forms gills for breathing and a fish-like finned tail that helps it swim. All right? And then we move on to. Now this one is a little bit different because on your stage 3, it shows that it has 4 legs, but this life cycle just shows when they still have 2, because they first form their back legs and then they get the front legs later. So this is the tadpole without, or with gills. Oh no, tadpole without gills. And so it says over the next few weeks the tadpole's gills are replaced with lungs. So at this point, when they start getting those legs, then they transition away from the gills and start to be able to breathe air. And then we've got tadpole with legs after about 9 weeks. So it takes a long time, over 2 months, for them to get from hatchling to almost a frog. Tadpole's hind legs appear and the front legs develop and the tail begins to shorten. Whoops. Because you'll notice this guy versus this guy. Whoop, right? Quite a difference in the tail length. So, and then finally, the adult frog. So cute. So this is about 12 weeks after the egg was laid. Fully developed frog is able to leave the water and venture onto land. So 12 weeks, that's about 3 months. 3 months from hatching to adult. So, and then you think about children, like humans, right? It takes a lot longer than just 3 months. Think about a 3-month-old baby. 3-month-old babies are like just starting to hold their head up very well. Things like that. They're like starting to get control of their body, which is kind of hilarious that a frog will be just a full-blown adult in that same amount of time. All right. Aw, this one says find one of your baby photos and look at how you look now compared to it. Aw, I'm not going to do that. That would be too weird. Because everybody will just, it's Delilah. It's not. It's me. I was bald. She wasn't. Complete metamorphosis. That's it. I promise I won't do it again. I'm lying. I'm going to do it again over here. Okay. Some insects develop in 4 stages. This type of development is called complete metamorphosis because there's a complete change from one stage to the next. An insect begins its development as an egg. It then develops into a larva, and the larva spends its time feeding and growing. It molts or sheds its outer covering a few times and then grows into a pupa, right? So the chrysalis type stage for butterflies, cocoon for a moth. The pupa is inactive and many changes happen in its body. Once these changes are finished, the insect breaks out as an adult and it can reproduce. Butterflies, ants, bees, flies, and beetles are all insects that go through complete metamorphosis. Think of how tiny an ant pupa must be. Eek, super tiny. And then we're skipping number 5, but we will do number 6 and 7. So it says label the larva and the pupa in the diagram. Okay, it's these guys. Which one's the larva and which one's the pupa? I don't know about you guys, but most of the time when I think of larvas, I think, ew, disgusting. I don't want to be anywhere near it, right? Like that bee larva. Ugh. A couple pages back, you know what I'm talking about. Disgusting. Maggots are fly larvae, right? So gross. But then, like, we talk about caterpillar. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Look at the little caterpillar. Also a larva. Why are they cute and the other one's not? I couldn't exactly tell you. Probably because, I don't know, there's just something about, they just don't seem, I don't know, they don't seem to have a face. Maybe that's it, they're too worm-like. I don't know. Anyway, and then number 7, it says, during its development, a growing butterfly forms a cocoon called a chrysalis. A chrysalis is another name for the pupa of a butterfly. What does the chrysalis provide the growing butterfly? Okay, so why would all of these changes happen in a pupa, in the chrysalis, versus just, like shedding another layer or doing that kind of stuff? Why would it be important for them to go into this kind of dormant stage for all of these body changes? I mean, to go from here essentially to here. Why would you want or need this stage? All right. That's a tough one, but you guys are smart and you can handle it. All right, an incomplete metamorphosis. I didn't do it. Okay. Are you sad? Insects that have 3 stages of development go through incomplete metamorphosis. Stages are egg, larva, and adult. In incomplete metamorphosis, the larva is called a nymph. The nymph looks similar to the adult but has no wings. Now, this is where I kind of disagree with the book, because this dragonfly does not look a whole lot like this dragonfly. I hate that they use the dragonfly as an example because its body shape is very different, right? Dragonflies, to me, always have those like really long, skinny, like stick-like tails, or I think it's a thorax. I think that's the last section of a insect's body. But anyway, this to me does not look, I wouldn't think, if I saw this like crawling around, I wouldn't think, oh, that looks like a little dragonfly with no wings. No, I would not. Anyway, I digress. The nymph looks similar to the adult but has no wings. Dragonflies, grasshoppers, and cockroaches go through incomplete metamorphosis. There is, in one of the books, they show the dragon. No, this is the dragonfly. The grasshopper incomplete metamorphosis stages, and it looks a lot better, I think. So anyway, and then number 9 is your number 8. I don't know why I said 9. Number 8 on this page is your Flipgrid response. So it says, explain why a dragonfly's metamorphosis is considered incomplete. So over here, complete metamorphosis. Over here, incomplete. Why is this considered incomplete? All right, so that is the homework for today. Super exciting stuff, guys. Next week, you're going to have another test. Whee! And then we're going to do a couple lessons on space for our last few lessons, because it's in your book, and we've got a little bit of time. So, all right, that's it. Bye, guys. Whoa, that didn't work.